What's up, Knotfest? Welcome to the last episode of Knotfest Wrestling for 2022. You're here with Rob and Jordan because it's Christmas Eve when we're recording, and we're Jewish, so we're trying to secure the bag for the holiday.
We're the only ones that don't have familial commitments tonight, because our family, this doesn't mean anything to them.
It means nothing to them. Do you do any Christmas stuff at all?
No, never.
Never?
I've never had a Christmas tree. I mean, I've done Christmas presents with other, significant others' families, but that's about it.
Yeah. I don't do anything unless my partner wants to do Christmas stuff. My partner right now, she loves the Christmas, and so when we do it, we just make sure that there's there's a menorah going. If we listen to Christmas music,
to be clear, I'm not against it. I love Christmas music.
Yeah, totally.
I've just never actively celebrated, but I'm all about the Christmas spirit.
100%.
I'm all about taking the last 2 weeks of the year off.
Oh,
let's
beautiful
do it.
stuff.
Let's party.
Yeah. Here's the thing. When we do Christmas stuff, I like to, as long as it's like a little bit silly, I'm having a great time. Like, we listen to the Neil Diamond Christmas album when we decorate tree business, because the Neil Diamond Christmas album I think is amazing, because it's like he heard the Bruce Springsteen Santa Claus is Coming to Town and was like, what if that was a whole album? I can't believe he didn't do that. But enough of that. Yeah, when this has come out, it's after Christmas, so none of this matters anyway. But today we got to wrap up the year. This was maybe the craziest year in wrestling of all time. So it's wild that we're at the end of it. A
lot happened here.
So many truly unthinkable things. Stone Cold Steve Austin returned, the CM Punk, the craziest real life thing since. Then Vince McMahon retires, and then the CM Punk thing. Mm-hmm. All in 1 year.
Yes, it's been a wild journey, and the wrestling business is in a totally different place than it was a year ago. I feel like so many things have changed. Cody is no longer in AEW; he's in WWE.
I forgot.
Who would have thought that at the beginning of the year? You know?
No, I thought that was last year. This has been an exhausting year, to be honest with you. I'm a little burnt out. I'm ready for a reset, a new season already. But I was trying to think about, today we're doing top 10 wrestlers of the year, and we're doing top 10 matches. Classic format. Got to do it. But it feels like the earth-shattering news of the wrestling business kind of eclipsed the actual
absolutely
the art of wrestling and the performers.
Yes, I feel like what happened behind the scenes was far, far bigger news than what's happening in front of the camera. And usually it is in wrestling, but a lot more so this year. Like, one of the biggest stories of all time, I feel, is Vince McMahon retiring and how he got kind of, put out to pasture, basically, by people ratting him out.
They should rat him out, by the way.
And they should have,
100%.
But it'll be interesting to see if there's any more to the story in 2023. There's rumors he's trying to get back. I don't think people want him back. And then really the CM Punk thing, I think, was the biggest story in AEW, and it's very unfortunate because AEW was on a huge, huge roll. And then I feel like at the beginning of the summer, starting with Punk getting injured, they were kind of starting to fumble a little. The stories kind of started weren't really connecting as much as they were like a year prior. And then All Out happened, and Punk had his his little fit at the press conference, and I feel like it took them a while to recover to where they're only just now kind of starting to get back on the horse, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, this has been a shockingly busy last month and a half for, I think, everybody on our little wrestling team. That's kind of why the end of the year video, we had to do it. and it's me and Rob because, I mean, like, of course, we're at Christmas Eve, but I think I haven't been able to keep up with AEW or much wrestling for the last month. I've heard it's great. I am gonna like catch some highlights, but I think the backstage drama aspect for me has burnt me out. I think because when I was going through making my lists, I forgot that so much happened on television because it's been overshadowed by the drama, and it's not the quality of the match's fault or a fault of the performers. It's just that who can compete with this news? Literal game-changing news, all for both
It's
companies.
great gossip too. I mean, that's kind of the great thing about wrestling. That's what always was exciting about wrestling. Why I can't let it go just because there's such good backstage gossip. And I mean, look, they're to be fair though, let's not overshadow what else is. I feel the level of pro wrestling is so high right now. It's at the highest it's ever been.
Right.
We are so spoiled as wrestling fans that it was honestly hard to even narrow down to 10 matches. I know I'm forgetting matches that I loved at the time. I'm sure as we go through our lists, like you'll mention a match that I'm like, oh, that's right, I love that, and I'll do the same, just because there's so much good wrestling constantly on TV. One other story I think that's worth mentioning too is New Japan Pro Wrestling kind of becoming a little more irrelevant throughout the year, which is kind of a bummer because they still have a lot of my favorite wrestlers. With that said, I mean, part of my favorite show of the year, maybe Forbidden Door, that was amazing. But just on their own, they're not really doing that much. Although they also are having a reset, like you were saying, because Wrestle Kingdom looks incredible. They're going to have cheering. I'm really, really looking forward to it. I'm going to I don't know if I'm not going to be able to stay up and watch it live because I will, by the time the main event happens, I'm going to be gone, but I will be able to finally just wake up first thing in the morning, just watch it. I'm very excited to do that. So that'll be fun. But yeah, should we just jump into our lists?
Yeah, would you want to do matches or wrestlers first?
Let's do matches first.
Let's do matches. All right. Do you start us off, Rob? What's number 10?
All right, my
match
number
of the
10.
year?
So this is a late entry, and this is a deep cut. I know that I don't want to sound like too much of a dork, but
too late. We're the wrestling show on the Slipknot website. Too late.
Right. But I love flippy shit. I love good flippy shit. I don't like flippy shit for the sake of flippy shit. I like it when it means something. And honestly, what's been going on with GCW? They've been booking these AAA guys, and they've been stealing the shows for me. Like, it's basically the only reason I watch GCW, because I'm not really too much into the deathmatch stuff. I mean, it's my main draw for GCW. Like, I don't want to knock everything else. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be so general, but
Bussy is
good.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a fun watch. But this is like, these matches are the ones where I'm like, okay, this shit is my shit. This is very much my shit.
Yeah.
So they just had an event last weekend, America's Most Wanted, in LA at the Ukrainian Culture Center, my favorite name for a venue. And there was a lucha match. It was Gringo Loco and Los Vipers, which was Latigo and Toxin, and they faced Arez, ASF, Arturo San Francisco, who is the most underrated wrestler right now, and Commander, who is the new king of the ropes. Like, you think Ray Phoenix can control the ropes? This guy did some insane maneuvers. Go to the Squared Circle to Twitter if you're listening to this, and check it. I retweeted his big spot from this match. He rope walked from one end of the ring to the other, then did a springboard into a Phoenix splash. It was ridiculous.
That's ridiculous. I gotta see this. If you're,
I will send you the whole match.
Yeah,
because you have to watch it. Like, I was watching this alone, and I was audibly gasping, like, oh my god, and like to nobody, just because it was so crazy. Commander, I think, is somebody who's going to be like the next big underground star. Him and Vikingo are going to be the big breakout stars of next
Love
year
it.
because they're insane.
Beautiful. I love that. Here's the thing. I'm not going to have any matches that tiny. Mine are all AEW, WWE.
That's the most obscure match for sure. I wanted one match like that just blew me. And really, like, GCW this year has been killing it with the lucha bookings. Like, I'm not a fan of everything GCW does, but I'm a fan of them providing a variety of like niche pro wrestling. So there's something for everyone, because even at the Hammerstein show, the lucha match blew me away. The Gringo Loco, this guy is such a great base guy for the lucha, and I think he books all the other lucha guys for the GCW shows. So shout out to him, and shout out to those guys.
Fuck yeah. Absolutely. Well, on the complete opposite side of the wrestling spectrum, my number 10 is Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Kevin Owens.
All right.
WrestleMania Night 1. Whatever this match was, as long as like Stone Cold Steve Austin didn't die, I think it was going to make it to like a top 10 list. It was so exciting. The spectacle of it, whether it was actually going to be a match or not, I thought it was very smart. Kevin Owens is maybe the best at just on the. And I feel like he's maybe the most talented at on the fly sports entertainment. Like, you can count on him. He's the most reliable tool that WWE has to give you something solid. And this was great. I had a lot of fun. It was the perfect. This is how WrestleMania properly should have ended. I had a wonderful time. I never got to see a Stone Cold Steve Austin match
in real time.
So it was so much fun.
It was very fun, even as someone who is jaded and I've seen Austin at his peak, so I'm very spoiled. But I think they did a great job, and I was so impressed at how much Austin did. So, and totally. I love Austin. My friend and I, who watched Austin as he was, doing his thing, like, we were saying, like, he made us laugh during that era more than any comedian. Like, he provided so much week to week original comedy.
Yep.
He's like one of my favorite comedians of all time, just, without even trying.
The wine
yes.
TikTok from like a week ago with The Undertaker is unbelievable. Look at the legs. Why do I give a shit about legs? I just want to know what it be tasted. I just want to see what taste is.
He's the best.
He's so funny.
There's that viral little rant he does about gay marriage, how he's pro-gay marriage, and how he's like, listen, if anybody wants to marry them, who they love, man, woman, who am I to say? Like, whatever. And it's like, yeah, hell yeah. Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. We love Stone Cold Steve Austin. It was very fun. I don't know. That's just one of the special things about wrestling is like, I think it's like you picked an in a gymnasium talent classic, like technical masterpiece, and I'm like essentially like picking a kick and punch like bonanza
wrestling
with a guy who shouldn't. Totally. And I love that. I love that. So like this, I feel had to go on there, even though this is, this is also like the opposite of what I'm usually here for in wrestling. But the thing is, it's
story. It told a story though.
Yeah, I feel like there's a version of every type of wrestling that I can get into at a certain point.
Yeah,
I've seen death matches that I absolutely love, even though that's not necessarily my thing. There's versions. It's like any type of music. Like there's a version of something in every genre that I'm into. But what's your number 9, Rob?
I have a little bias because I have attended a good amount of AEW shows live. So matches that I've seen live in person hold a much specialer place in my heart, I feel.
Totally.
And I was at Double or Nothing in Las Vegas this year. And I was front row.
I remember
Joan
that.
asked me how I got that upgrade. I was very lucky. And it was a wild event. It was kind of a weird event because I think there was like a big football game or something on. So they kind of stuffed the middle of the show with filler, which was a little weird. But the like first third of the show and the last third of the show are incredibly memorable.
Yep.
And the most memorable match of that show for me, and maybe one of the most wild matches I've seen, was Anarchy in the Arena, which was the Blackpool Combat Club of Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley with Eddie Kingston, Ortiz, and Santana against the Jericho Appreciation Society.
We should save this discussion because I also have this match on my list, and it's higher up.
Okay. Well, it's my number 9.
Cool. I love that. My number 9 is another WWE thing, and the ending of this match is not good, but I have to admit that I had no expectations for this match, and everything up until the actual finish, I was on the edge of my seat. I couldn't believe it. Colin and I were texting throughout going like, is this going to be match of the year? What the fuck is going on? And it's Roman versus Seth at the Royal Rumble.
Oh, yes.
The second Seth came out in the Shield gear, it changed the entire like tone of the room because no one was excited for this match. I feel like everyone was like, this is going to be an obvious placeholder. Like Roman is not.
Roman was winning.
You knew Roman was winning, and we all kind of expected him to get a win over Seth and like waste their entire storyline where he's never beaten him. And they didn't do that. And the match was pretty insane until they did a very boring finish to not have anything decisive. But I was so excited. And you got it. Listen, I'm a Seth Rollins apologist. That motherfucker delivers.
He's a great wrestler, yeah.
He's just so excited. It takes a lot to be like a character that no one is into at all, and then be able to turn everyone around when you wrestle. That's pretty that's a special in-ring talent.
Yeah, like even at the last pay-per-view is him versus Austin Theory versus Lashley, and I remember you watched it on delay, and you were like, "Oh, I'm about to watch a show," and I was like, "Oh." The match of the night is the U.S. title match. Don't miss it. And you're like, oh, I was actually planning on skipping. I'm like, no. You have to watch it.
You were right.
I agree. I was not looking forward to it at all, but I just happened to have watched it live, and I was just like, I'm on the edge of my seat here. This is incredible. Yeah, he always knows how to put together a very exciting match. You can't take that away from him. That's a match that I completely forgot about.
Yeah, I forgot about it too. When I was just reading up on what happened this year, I was like, that was this year? Also, I forgot about this. Also, I forgot how excited I was watching. I got to give it just a really, really boring ending, but I couldn't believe it. And then everything after that, it was the worst. This was the worst Royal Rumble of all time, probably.
Yes. The most boring one.
Most boring Royal. I had friends watching for the first time, and I apologized to them.
You should. Yeah. No, it was brutal.
It was brutal. But this, what a hot opener until the finish. But yeah, I got to give it to him. That was a very exciting performance. Good job, fellas. I mean, but also fuck you guys. That you shouldn't have done that editing. What do you got for number 8, Rob?
This is a match that I would not have expected to throw in here, but a match that blew me away as I was watching it. Cody Rhodes versus Sammy Guevara on Dynamite in a ladder match to unify the TNT Championship. Cody's last match in AEW, it ended up being, and the best ladder match of the year. I thought that they used the ladders incredibly. I want to say over ladder matches in the sense that I think that you should use them sparingly. Like they're so violent and painful that you shouldn't just throw one out there for no reason.
Right.
But I think there was a reason here. I think they did really innovative spots. The spot that they did where Sammy jumped off one ladder to give Cody a cutter on another ladder is just going to be on
Crazy.
Dynamite reels forever. And so, yeah, this is the one ladder match of all the ones this year that sticks out in my mind.
I'm trying to think of like a better ladder match, and I was like, maybe it was a bad year for ladder matches. Like the
Money in the Bank wasn't good.
The one where MJF like climbed.
Oh
to the
yeah,
top.
that was a nothing thing. That was just an angle.
Yeah, that was a bummer, and also was full of botches. I don't know. I think you're right. Bad year for ladder. Oh wait, Jeff Hardy versus Darby. Think you gotta.
Yeah, but that was crazy. That was insane. That was a stunt show. That was unsafe. Like that was wild though. That was a really good match. That was a dream match for sure.
I had way more fun. I watched that live. Like I was, so I think I was probably more excited. And for Cody and Sammy, I was like, I hate both these motherfuckers. Like I think I went in just. Like not excited to watch either dude, but also both like they won me over by the end.
Yeah, they really delivered.
But yeah, I think I think you could make the argument for Darby versus Jeff, a dream match between two absolutely delightful psychopaths, just ready to meet God. And kick him in the face.
Yeah, no fear of death.
Absolutely not.
Fear. Just totally accepting of it. If it happens, it happens.
My number 8 is Bianca versus Becky at WrestleMania. It fucking was the best actual wrestling match on the entire show. For both nights, I think like they won. These two have chemistry. I think it's just Bianca. Bianca can just take any. She's a carrier now, Yeah,
she hasn't. I feel even reached her peak too. I feel
which
like
is
she's still learning and growing, which is so crazy.
It's crazy because like 2 years in a row, she has match of the night at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
That's for the belt. She wins the belt from the Horsewomen in match of the night. That's so insane. Good for her.
It's wild to recognize that she's the next generation. Like the Horsewomen are now the previous generation, and there's a whole new like her and Rhea Ripley. They're this next gen.
And
now there's a generation even after them too, with like these NXT girls like Roxy Perez and all that.
Crazy to think about. But what's your number 7?
My number 7 is from Triple Mania in AAA. This is look, another flippy shit match. The best flippy shit match I've seen all year. This is top notch, top of the line. I don't really watch AAA too much, but I do check in on the big shows, the big spectacles, and I do love how it is a high-end production, but from Mexico. So there's very distracting ads everywhere.
Oh,
and they gotta make their money, and I'm constantly losing my point of vision because the ads are so distracting, and I have to like find the wrestlers on the screen again when they cut. But even having to deal with all that, the match between Bandito, El Hijo del Vikingo, Phoenix, Laredo Kid, and Taurus was insane. It was high-end lucha libre, and like I said, I love flippy shit, and they delivered it. So I very much like that match.
I will seek it out. I haven't been able to do Triple Mania in a couple of years because of I can't look at that much mayonnaise advertising. Like,
it's very distracting.
It's so insane, but also I get it. And speaking of flippy shit, my number 7 is House of Black versus Death Triangle, the one where
this was on a pre-show. I was there live at Revolution, I believe, right?
That was the one with Redbeard, which also rocked ass. But I'm picking
right.
Phoenix is back, and we get the Julia Hart turn that leads to the win.
Oh, yes, that was a good one. Yeah, okay.
And this is also when Brody King no-sold the apron. Like, it's so it speaks to the performer. To a similar event happened with some guy on WWE, and he couldn't recover from like not landing the ring rope dive or whatever. But Brody does it, still hit people, and then accepts it. Doesn't pretend like he did the move great, but still just gets fired back up again. And it works. He sold it. It did not take away from the match at all. It's just what a year match quality wise House of Black has had. It's really, I'm so excited to see where they go.
Yeah, and what a year for trio wrestling in general in both promotions. I feel like there's a real resurgence of it, and kind of tag team wrestling as well. But it in a way, it kind of reemphasizes how great tag team wrestling can be and how much more exciting it is when you have more people in the match to give people resting points to allow others to keep wrestling.
Yeah. And this, for me, this is Trio's match of the year. Like, it was between this and the Revolution match. This was the best. For me, this is I was never more excited than this, because it has Phoenix, a returning Phoenix. He was off the chain.
Yeah.
In this match.
I love
he was so pent up, so that Penta did a lot of shit, and it was great. What's your number 6?
My number 6, I saw this match live at Revolution. It was MJF versus CM Punk in a dog collar match. This was the match where Wardlow turned on MJF, and the crowd went so nuts. And the match itself was so good. Punk came out to AFI. I was losing my shit. And it was the match of the night that night. And that was a great card. And that card had a lot of great matches, like Adam Cole versus Adam Page with the infamous "Let's go Adam, Adam sucks" chant. And
A+.
Really, yeah. And that whole night was really, really fun. And it was like a long show, but it went by. And then Sting had that crazy street fight. But this was the match of the night. This was, I feel, where MJF really got made, where Punk really made MJF, and MJF lost, and he still came out looking like $1 million. And I think this match will be remembered for a long time. And I believe MJF has even went on record as saying it's one of his all-time favorite matches.
Yeah, I really, I ended up loving it. I remember being my only personal bias is I remember being frustrated that the crowd for a lot of Revolution just like they got burnt out. They got really burnt out, and it took a long time for them to get into it. And I was like, at least audibly, and there might have been like an audio issue on my end. I don't know. I just couldn't. To me, the crowd was like dead silent, and I couldn't believe it. And I was saying to my partner, I was like, they're killing each other, and the crowd is giving them nothing. And I also had I love AFI. Number one, like one of my top bands of all time, and the AFI entrance, like I was excited, but then it seemed like because of the crowd, I was like, are they not into it? Is this it affected it for me, the crowd response, even though the performances themselves were fucking awesome. So
Yeah,
that's that.
I
for
do
me.
always feel when I attended AEW show live and then I go home and I rewatch it, that the crowd sounds quieter than how I remember it live.
Right.
I think it might just be a miking issue, but I could see how it was a completely different experience watching it on television.
Yeah, by the end, hot as shit. But it felt like the same thing happened for Mox and Danielson. I remember there were a couple of spots where Danielson was like, "Can you fucking yell or something? Like, come on, it's me and Mox.
Yeah.
What are you?
No,
how are you not?"
Mox and him was definitely quiet, but I think there was like a spot fest match right before it.
Totally.
I remember one thing I remember with that show was it was very hard to take bathroom breaks,
Right.
because there wasn't like they didn't pace it that way. So it might have just been the beginning of that match was just when everyone had to just go. There was like a long match right before everyone just had to go to the bathroom, and then you get back into it. Something
Either way,
stupid like that.
Either way, it rocked. It's I like I loved this match. I kind of liked the Dynamite MJF CM Punk a little better. I thought that like I
Where he
like
won
when
twice in a row.
Yeah, I loved the double shenanigans. And I also CM Punk's gear that night also looked great. Every day looked great on that, and I love.
That was a great feud. We had the CM Punk Sting Darby versus MJF and FTR match. There was a lot of memorable stuff.
It was great.
The Punk run was very fun.
The Punk one, it was. It was a good run. I think that if you look at everything on paper, incredible run. But yeah, my number 6 is FTR versus the Briscoes. I couldn't pick one of the three, so it's just all of them as one, like Tetsuo the Iron Man match. These guys have incredible chemistry. I've never seen top form Briscoes in my day. I feel like they've never been in the marquee match anytime I've watched a thing of theirs. Yeah. And they're unbelievable.
They are. I've been watching them since they were little baby boys. So, no, but they're still in top form. All 3 matches were really good. It was on my list. I ended up bumping it just because I had so many other matches that I just happened to enjoy more. But those two teams always deliver. That dog collar match was so fun and really, really just violent and painful. But I remember the first match that stole the weekend for me at WrestleMania. Like that was the best match on that card. The best match like on all those indie shows, and it was a match I was really looking forward to. So
was it?
Yeah.
Was it WrestleMania? That's how far back it was?
Yeah, it was Super Card of Honor or something. Yeah, like that was where they booked the first match.
Yeah, okay. That one was sick. That I couldn't believe it. They did an incredible job. That's probably the one I'm going to list, but each one was great. Yeah. But yeah, what do you got? What do you got for number 5? We should blast through these top 5.
The best New Japan match of the year between Sheamus and Gunther at Clash of the Castle. This match was fucking awesome. This was everything I wanted. Gunther, I'm so glad they're letting him be Walter and slap people on their fucking chests and do the Ishii thing. And Sheamus was the perfect opponent, and Sheamus really stepped his pussy up, so to speak.
Yeah.
Because he is great now, and he's a real top guy, I feel, and they had a great match.
Yeah, what a rehab Sheamus has had since the Vince departure. He's just really, the second Vince left, he was like, okay, I'm gonna crush it.
I feel like he really got him. Yeah, he found himself too. Like he understood his character better than he ever has before. Of just I'm a tough fucking fighter guy. I watched the SmackDown that was the first SmackDown without Vince. I had to. How could I not? I was too curious. And they did the fucking Donnybrook match that night. Oh,
and
yeah.
I was like,
and they fucking beat the shit out of each other. Yeah.
So immediately, Sheamus is like, I am going to redefine myself as an ass beater. And he did. From the second the door shut to the Vince McMahon office. Wild stuff. Good for Sheamus. I figured you might have this on there, so I bumped it from mine for the... I actually replaced... it was going to be like my number 6, and I replaced it for FTR and Briscoes.
That's funny.
Yeah.
We both bumped. All right.
Both did some bumping.
What's your number 5?
Number 5, Hangman versus Danielson 2.
Which one was this? Where was this?
This was I think the first Dynamite of the year. This is post Winter is Coming.
It's on my list as well.
Do
you want higher up for me?
Then let's save it. Because
Okay.
Danielson 2, I will say, I thought their first match at Winchester is Coming was great. I hated that they did the draw finish so soon after the Danielson Kenny Omega draw.
And that was spoiled for me, so I couldn't enjoy the surprise of it. But they did have a great match, though.
It was
despite
great.
The bad finish.
I'm in the minority for not liking it, but stop doing it. The reason the first one was so incredible is because there hadn't been a draw, and then you're gonna do your second draw 2 months later in the same type of position. It was boring to me. But second match was great. What's your number 4?
My number 4 is a match that I saw live at AEW Full Gear. It was my favorite wrestler, Kenny Omega, Matt Jackson, and Nick Jackson versus Pac, Penta, and Phoenix. My opinion, the best trios match of the year. Where they had the big return from suspension match from Kenny Omega and the Bucks. I was just so like enamored and so marked out, and I remember thinking in the moment, like, this is peak wrestling. Just like oh, this is the top. These are the best at this type of wrestling. These guys just are so good, so sharp. I think there was like 1 or 2 botches, but
Yeah.
even still they recovered like it was nothing, and it was just top level, and I really, really enjoyed it. And I love all these guys so much I could watch them. Anytime they wrestle, even if it's on dark, I will not fast forward because I love them, and they always do something fun.
Listen, I think this solidifies that Death Triangle is the trio of the year. Because we both...
Oh, yeah.
We both had them on our list for different matches. Honestly, I feel like Death Triangle came out of nowhere to be like, because they weren't really being the triangle until like the belts appeared. But in the discussion to the creation of the belts, I feel like Trio of the Year was expected to be either the Elite or House of Black. And it's very funny that like Death Triangle is like, we're here, motherfucker. Like, we're going to do it. We've been here the whole time.
At the beginning of the year, you could have said it was Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, and Bobby Fish.
I fucking forgot.
They were here. But no, it's absolutely Death Triangle. They were the most consistent, the least injured.
They were the
least suspended.
Least hiatus. They rocked. Good for them. And yeah, I was there also. I loved seeing that match. It was I think I'm just, I'm more I think my emotional investment is just more in House of Black, and I think your emotional investment is more in the Elite because of Kenny Omega. It's totally subjective. Both matches totally whipped ass. My number 4 is Acclaimed versus Swerve in Our Glory 1.
Yes.
Undeniable.
This was also like a number 11, number 12 for me. It was a very, very good match.
I couldn't not put it high up on my list because of from the reaction of the people alone.
The crowd really wanted the title change. Dude,
which is, I think, job done. When you have people so invested in one team that they're like, they are publicly mad at the booking of the not the actual booking, but just the decision to not let the one team win.
Mm-hmm.
That's, I think, when you know that you've done, like, that's the modern like fourth wall breaking version of knowing you did a good job. Because the match was just too exciting.
Yeah, and they got themselves over all on their own, with the silly catchphrases, but also just being very likable. And also Swerve and Keith, I think.
Underrated.
Very underrated, great tag team. And they saw what was going on, and they knew how to play into it and to get Acclaimed even more over. And they deserve just as much credit there.
100%. I think I think this is like an undeniable performance from both teams, and it came out of this was on All Out, when no one thought that this is no one would have expected this.
Yeah,
you
going in, you thought it was like a filler match. But
totally,
it was match of the night.
Unbelievable.
Same, I feel with this match going into the show, you did not think it would be memorable, but it's probably one of the most memorable matches of the year. It is one of the most memorable matches of the year. Number 3 on my list, Cody versus Seth, Hell in a Cell. This was the match where Cody's pec is completely torn off, and you just see the big bruise, and they spend the whole match working the bruise, and I've never been more emotionally invested in like, oh, why are you doing this? This is so stupid, but like, Cody really knows how to draw emotion out of people. And honestly, this is one of the most memorable. This is like, obviously the most memorable Hell in the Cell match is going to be Mankind versus Undertaker. Nothing's going to top that fucking insanity. The amount that I marked out watching that, I literally had to call my parents into the room. Like, you have to see this. This guy just got killed.
Yeah.
But this is a number 2 for me, for sure.
Really? Over Taker Shawn Michaels, the first one?
Oh, no. This is number 3 for sure. You're right. I'm sorry.
Okay.
No, that match is perfect as well. No, you're right.
The Mick Foley retirement Hell in the Cell also is pretty insane.
No, I didn't like that. I didn't like the bump with because they just tried to recreate the Undertaker bump, but it was choreographed and safe.
Fair enough.
But no, it was a good match. But no, this was up there though.
I haven't watched it. Because for me, I was like, they've already wrestled like enough. In my mind, I was like, that's enough of this.
It was the best match that they had too, and I understand.
I'll watch it.
That's how I felt going into it as well. Like, I had no expectations, and then I heard he was injured, and I was like, oh, so this is really gonna suck. But it was insane.
Yeah, well, like once I heard that, like, yeah, he's going into it. And the whole thing was like, he can't injure it more, so he's just gonna do the match. I was like, that's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard.
Yes, he does very dumb things.
Really,
very, very dumb things.
Really not a smart idea, but like, it's a way to go out with a bang. I'll take a peek at it. I'm just like, Colin and I have talked about how we think the Cody leaving AEW situation it has put stank on him that has not left for me yet.
For me, I thought it was the best for both parties. And I think he fits in much better in WWE than he did at the moment in AEW. Like, the fans were clearly rejecting him. He didn't want to do the heel thing. And he's a great face in WWE. That's a problem.
I think that's a problem. I feel like if you don't want to switch to be a heel, like, come on, man. Like, it's gonna happen again in WWE. He didn't want to be a heel so badly that he would negate the 2.5 years he spent shitting all over the company. It feels.
Yeah, but I think that was just him playing a character.
Totally.
I don't think he
probably
meant it. I get what you're saying with that. Like, it did hurt his credibility a little bit. Because
the credibility just like has not been rebuilt yet, which he can do. The promo about wanting the title was great. Cody's so super talented, but
and I'm very invested in his story, so I'm curious how they do his return.
Yeah, I'm
at the Rumble or what.
I think they're in a very difficult position, and we'll get there shortly. I think because people are having fun, but he's been gone for a while, and they're in a risky spot to just put him directly in the title picture. But either way, my number 3 is Orange versus Ospreay from Forbidden Door. That also a sleeper match of the night.
I don't know. I thought this was on my list, but it's not. It should have been on my list. Yes, very good.
People always doubt Orange Cassidy.
This was the best match of that show for sure.
The best match. If you
Yeah.
give him time, like he's gonna steal the show.
And Ospreay is,
Of
an
course.
idiot outside of the ring, but a savant inside the ring.
Totally.
Very, 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 very talented, very entertaining. Always wants to deliver, especially in a big match like this. And this was essentially the highest profile singles match on the show, other than the world title match, the second highest profile match. And they stole the show. They absolutely stole the show.
100%.
When you steal the show from Tanahashi and John Moxley, that's no easy feat.
100%. Every match on on Forbidden Door, which was probably my favorite pay-per-view also. I feel like I thought it was gonna steal because it's the two of them, but people were like, "Oh, like Ospreay's gonna have to do Orange Cassidy stuff," and it's like, how many? It's been 3 years of Orange. Like he's
I feel like
amazing.
Once he had that match with Pac, like 2 years ago at Revolution, I was just like, that's it. You can't talk. Like, shut up. Like, he has really good matches. That's it. Stop.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. You're
Like,
done.
just because something is funny doesn't mean it's like funny and
Yeah, Shawn Michaels does
exhilarating.
comedy in his matches. Like, he's one
His
of the best.
ass is out.
Yeah. Yeah,
in
Ric Flair does comedy. Yeah, like the best wrestlers do comedy. Like, shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up. Also, like, even Ospreay does comedy. He's a silly. He's a doofus. Of course, there's going to be comedy.
My number 2 is Adam Page versus Bryan Danielson, the first Dynamite of the year. I was there in Long Island. So good. Bryan Danielson just top of his game, and Adam Page, I feel like does not get the credit he deserved. He had a great run as world champion.
Agreed.
Always delivered with the matches. Very good at promos. They're kind of building him back up now with this feud with Moxley. It's very nice. And,
I agree.
This was great. I was there live, so I was losing my shit, marking out, totally forgetting about how depressed I was at that moment. So it was great.
I also A+ blade job, probably best blade job.
Oh, wow,
of the
yeah.
year. They both the way it added to the match and just the luck of the draw of blood that they both got, the way that it was perfect stuff. This was probably the best Dynamite match of the year. I would say best TV match.
Yep.
I loved it. I'm with you with Hangman. An underrated run. Every one of his matches was sick. The Lance Archer match was sick. The Adam Cole match was sick. All sick. Just because people were complaining about that run, in my opinion, because he's like of his positioning on the card, and that's just like not. It's the one thing he doesn't have control over, is the stuff that's given to him. He knocked it out. He did the best he possibly could with each thing he was given. And that's all you can ask. That's all you can rate the wrestler on, is what they do with their stuff. My number 2, Anarchy in the Arena.
Oh, here we go.
Unbelievable.
Oh, so good. So good. It was such a crazy match to experience live. I did not know where to avert my eyes. And also a lot of the time, sometimes you couldn't see anything. But it was fine. And you're just looking up at the screen. But
Keeping
it
Wild
was
Thing
total
on
anarchy.
for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So
It was
funny.
great. It was so fun. And then Jericho disconnected the music. It was great. It was great sports entertainment.
Totally.
Like it wasn't a technical match. There wasn't flippy shit. It was mostly punches and kicks and throwing stuff. But it was very, very exciting. And because there were 10 people, they kept it interesting.
The whole time. Eddie coming out looking like full Sam Raimi Evil Dead with the gas canister is it's an unforgettable image. And what an ending I was on the edge of my seat. Everything was funny. This was incredible stuff. This is the best thing that the Jericho Appreciation Society has been a part of. Unbelievable. They never topped it. They did War Games after this.
Yeah, they did not need to do the War Games. It was not as good as this. They could have saved their own blood, you know?
Yeah, this was top.
They really should have just ended the feud here. This was the peak of it.
Well, because after this, Eddie and Brian had the most momentum coming out of this, and they capitalized on it not at all. It felt like they didn't get to use the momentum that they got from this match, and that's a shame. But this is the best backstage brawl thingy that they've done, or all around the arena thing that I've ever seen. It's usually not my thing. I'm usually not that excited about it. This is the best version of that type of thing. This is the dream recreation of what a stadium stampede with audiences.
Yeah, and
beautiful stuff. Love it. What is your number one?
I have a feeling we might have the same number one. This is one of the best matches I've ever seen in my entire life. It was at WrestleMania, and it was Sami Zayn versus Johnny Knoxville.
I also picked the Jackass match. Match of the year.
Match
of the year, baby.
I know this is probably a controversial pick. It's obviously not the most technical match. It is the silliest match. It is the quote-unquote fakest match. But I feel like this is the match you can show to somebody who doesn't get pro wrestling, and they will get pro wrestling after watching this, because it's so fun, it's so silly, it's so hilarious that you will get caught up in it, and it was very good.
It was perfect. Sammy's role in this was perfect. It's the best celebrity match I've ever seen. I don't care. A celebrity match is when the person kind of doesn't do any training and they just have to go in there. I don't think that. I think that Logan Paul training for 2 fucking years doesn't really count. He's a wrestler. He's not. Get out of here. But this is the best. I agree with everything that you said. I feel like the best entry level wrestling matches are Orange Cassidy versus Pac, and now this. Maybe this is the first one that you show somebody, since it's Johnny Knoxville is the perfect entry level celebrity for someone to get. Everybody loves the Jackass Boys and Johnny Knoxville. It was beautiful stuff. Art. It was art. It was hilarious, stupid art. And this is what I'm here for. This is what I watch wrestling for primarily, is this type of shit. So this is my match of the year, hands down. Let's pivot very quickly. Let's do top wrestlers.
Go one-on-one.
We'll do one-on-one.
My number 10 is a tie between Vikingo, because every time I see his match, he does something I've never seen before.
Right.
And also on Twitter, people will just post a random spot show where it's like a lucha show in front of 50 people, and he's doing an insane flip. So I very much admire him, and I look forward to seeing him more in the next year. And then, of course, Phoenix. I can't have a top 10 without Phoenix. He's had some of the best matches of the year. Very underrated, even by me. I think he should even be higher on my list, but there were just so many better wrestlers that I couldn't fit him in. So
he was also injured. He just wasn't around.
He didn't have that many singles opportunities this year as he did in previous years.
He was he might have been number 1 or 2 for me last year. So whatever. There's a lot. My list is not based on stats, and I think that that's important. My so there's no Roman Reigns on my list. I don't give a shit. He's Roman Reigns is exactly the same as he was last year, in my opinion. So my list is primarily
It's based on who's entertained me.
Who's entertained me and who has like honestly made like an impact, who has grown, who has like developed the most and like become relevant. That's what my list is made of. But that being said, number 10 is Adam Page, because I think he was not not given enough credit for having barn burners. I don't think he made that much of an impact as champion, but it's kind of not his fault. It's not for lack of trying. He's on here mostly because I think he deserves justice for like people hated on him. And then the CM Punk thing happened when he wasn't right. He had a bad 2022, but I think it kind of isn't his fault. And those matches we talked about, Hangman Danielson, that's not for nothing. Not for nothing. He kicked a lot of ass.
Number 9 for me is Tomohiro Ishii. I love Ishii. He is a guy who I will always watch his G1 matches. Mm-hmm. He had great matches in AEW this year. They brought him in, and he fucking had a barn burner with Eddie Kingston.
Oh, beautiful.
He had a match with Bryan Danielson that was fucking crazy. And he had a great match last week with Will Ospreay in England. Always delivers. Love Ishii. And I think he was on Forbidden Door. He had a match on there that kind of.
It was so good.
Right? Yeah.
It was so good. Similarly, my number 9, I feel like the American counterpart to Tomohiro Ishii is number 9 is Brody King. Brody King, in under a year, in that time, I think that him having a band, like making an imprint in the hardcore world, getting people from both scenes to pay attention to the other, is undeniable. His work got him a title match only like a few months into being there. Like he had a main event with Mox. That's incredible. The trios matches were great, and I think most people, he's got that like James Bond henchman, like the cool henchman vibe to him. Like he's not the main bad guy, but he's the one he's Jaws, he's Oddjob, he's who you remember, and he's kind of everyone's favorite. I feel like you ask anybody who's your favorite member of House of Black, most people this year are going to go Brody.
My number 8 is the Haas of the AEW women's division, Jamie Hayter.
She's higher on my list.
Good. She should be higher.
Yeah.
But she has rejuvenated the women's division in AEW, I feel. Mm-hmm. And as soon as she's become champion, every match has been so good. Not like Toni Storm has had great matches. Britt Baker's had good matches. But Hayter's the best one, I think, in AEW.
I agree. So. I'll say more later on. But number 8, another just out of nowhere, Konosuke Takeshita. Dude, what the fuck? And none of this was supposed to happen. The dude is moving here. He got signed.
Yeah.
Yeah, or he moved here because of how over he got just with like 3 matches.
Yeah.
What impressive. An impact this guy has made. Just with kicking ass and eating Cinnabons. He's all out of Cinnabons. So it's unbelievable. This guy is the Kota Ibushi of AEW already in 4 months. It's on one. I've never seen anything like this. He's absolutely got to be in the top 10 just for the sheer who is this guy and immediate like fan acceptance. People wanted him to beat Moxley for the belt. It was crazy. He got the acclaimed response in that match, which is nuts.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's number 8. Deserved it.
Number 7 for me is the Young Bucks.
Really?
Yeah, I really like them. I feel like they were my favorite tag team of the year. More so
Wow.
than FTR and Briscoes, even though they were kind of gone for a few months. I think they're, in a way, underrated because they always deliver.
That's
I
true.
always enjoy their matches. I always feel like their matches are of the top matches of the night. And
Yeah.
they entertain me so much, so I wanted to include them on the list.
That's fair. I outside of the trio stuff, like I can't.
They had a
Like, they're
really good match
incredible.
with FTR at the beginning of the year for
Mhm.
that's when FTR won the AAA titles, and
That's fair.
then they had matches with Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. They had a bunch of stuff. So
Cool.
and the trio stuff. I can't put Kenny Omega on because I feel like he's only really had like 4 matches this year because he's been
Yeah.
injured most of the year.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's really fair to put him on. So they
That's fair.
kind of get that spot.
Understood. My number 7 is Daniel Garcia.
Oh,
Daniel Garcia, dude. The Bryan matches were insane. The way that he became the most popular member of the Jericho Appreciation Society, and that comes from a group of folks that's based on a guy whose name is in the title. I guess
Right,
that's
like
the
it should
House
be
of
Jericho.
Black also. It
Yeah.
should House of Black is also named after the guy, but
named after the color.
they I think with the Kangol hat, like the Kangol hat got so over that now what's his name? Jake Hager is also trying to get over with a hat. Like it's Daniel Garcia has had insane matches, has been a great baby face, has been a great heel, showed full range that he's a pillar now.
He's good. Yeah, I agree.
He has
He's on the way up.
replaced I think he has replaced Sammy as like who people see as that pillar. Cuz he's done unbelievable stuff. I feel like he got the Buffalo match where he won the belt. I think that solidified. Like he came out with the West Side Gun entrance. It was like what a year for this guy. Unbelievable. Out of nowhere also. Got to give it to him.
Number 6 is one of the best actors of the year, and also a great wrestler, Jey Uso. Very
Wow.
impressive. You mentioned how like Roman hasn't really grown this year, and I agree. He's basically the same guy he was a year ago, but I feel like Jey has really grown as an actor. The interactions with him and Sami Zayn, who obviously is much higher up on my list, have been amazing, have been the absolute highlight of the show, and he has propelled himself into the main event program. And I think now they're headlining all the house shows, basically. So he is the main event program because Roman doesn't do the house shows. So that's a feather in the cap.
Yeah, Jay is unbelievable. An underrated member of that crew. Which that storyline is unbelievable. And of course, Roman is doing the work of his career, but I think this is just what happens with a long title reign. Like, yeah, you're having a certain type of match and you're doing it every time to stay healthy so that you can keep going. But there's not, I feel like other than the tractor spot, which is mostly due to Brock, not a lot to write home about for me personally. So yeah, I get it. Jey Uso. Fuck yeah. Makes sense. My number 6, Bianca Belair. She's just crushing it. Like, what the fuck? I feel like people are trying to get sick of her being champion, but she's just too exciting. She's just too good.
Great matches all the time.
They have invested in Bianca, and it has paid off. I don't think they've ever had this. I don't think they've ever had a star where they picked them, and out the gate, they were a babyface, they won the Rumble, and then they win the belt a million times at WrestleMania, and it really pays off. And this is the one time it has.
Yeah, and they
Bianca,
do it like at the right time. They don't wait too long.
This was the right time. Bianca, I think there's an argument. Like, if she didn't, she would be probably. I think she was my number one last year, but if this was her first year, like winning the belt at WrestleMania, she would probably be number one. I think that there's an art. You can make the argument that on paper she's like, booking wise, like maybe the greatest success story of like WWE writing. Their version of like trying to push it, and the fans have accepted it. It's cool to see. I've never seen it in my time watching wrestling. So, what's your number 5?
My number 5 is CM Punk.
Also mine. Wow.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
I feel like, look, the first 9 months of the year, or like the first 5 months of the year, were great. The comeback was good. He had really, really memorable programs with MJF. All of his matches were really fun. He had those fun, just like matches with guys a little lower on the card, but still really cool. Like he worked with Lee Moriarty.
The Penta match.
Penta, yeah, like they were really, really fun stuff. He had some fun challengers, and the Bobby Fish match, even where Bobby Fish tried to kick out. That might have been last year though.
What a pain in the ass.
Punk was the fucking top of the card. And while I was not a fan of how he went about things at the end there, I still love the guy as a wrestler. I'm very sports entertained by him, and I would welcome him back with open arms. And
totally.
I think they could totally still use him and should try to do it, but I don't think he would want to do it. He's too stubborn. But he was still great.
I agree. He was great. Like, you can't take away how exciting all of the matches were. His programs were insane. I will say that honestly, when he returned, even though it got fucking weird, I said to you and Colin, after the promo off between Moxley and Punk, I was like, I think this is the most excited I've ever been for a heavyweight title match. I can't believe it. Like they had me. His work, you can't say anything about his actual work.
Yeah.
I've even stopped judging the airing of public grievances. Like, he shouldn't have done that, but also we don't fucking actually know what's really going on with all that.
Yeah.
There's it still kind of doesn't make sense, and if it doesn't totally make sense, it's because we just don't know what's going on. And I feel like every person alive has been in a situation where they've wanted to do something like that. So whatever. Incredible year for CM Punk. He was the AEW champion twice. How can he not be in the top?
Yeah.
He's the first to be champion twice, right? No,
Moxley, I think, was the first.
Mox's, yeah.
Because of Punk, funny enough.
Funnily
MJF is number 4 for me. MJF had an amazing year. I mean, he ended up the champion. That shoot promo he had in LA is going to be remembered forever. Just a great run. Delivers in the ring, delivers on the mic, still has so much more to go. And he's Jewish, so that works for him too. So yeah, that's my guy.
Mazel.
Number 4.
Happy 7th night of Hanukkah? 6th?
Yes, tonight is the 7th.
7th. Mazel, MJF. My number 4, Jamie Hayter.
Oh.
Dude. She is higher than Daniel Garcia, Takeshita, and Brody King because she has the same exact journey as them of just showing the fuck up and then getting over, and she won the title. She has and deservedly so. Like she
got herself
organically,
over.
she got herself over to the point where I think it's AEW clearly changed their plans. They changed their plans, and it paid off for them because she was fucking ready for it. Her matches, she is so good in the fucking ring. And I feel like for even a while, like, people, like, she wasn't wrestling enough, you know? She just had a cool vibe.
It was like Sasha when she first came into WWE. They weren't, like, giving us Sasha, even though we wanted
like, just give it. She's so, like, when she was in tag matches and stuff, all of her sequences were incredible. She punches like she's in a Tekken game. It's crazy. She's the total package. Good for her. Long may she reign.
My number 3 is almost a sympathy number 3, but I still think he's one of the best wrestlers in the world. Kazuchika Okada. I mean, anytime I do tune into New Japan, he does have a great match. Can't really say he had too many memorable matches. He had some great ones with Will Ospreay this year. But, you know, I went to see New Japan live in New York. It was disappointing. It was not the New Japan of 3 years ago. However, when Okada came out, it was still like, this is the best wrestler in the world. You know, like, this is the modern Ric Flair. Like, he still has the aura about him and the vibe. And it's not his fault that his company doesn't know how to run a business. But he is amazing, and I love him so much. And I think he is him and the guy at number 2 are the only people that are like true baby faces, and that they get like real sympathy from the crowd always, and the crowd is always rooting for them.
Totally. I did not put Okada on here because it's undeniable that this is not his best year. It's just not. He's great.
Myself.
Yeah. You were like, this is a pity number 3 for him. I love, because everyone agrees.
Yeah.
Old Kazu is best, probably number 1 of all time. It's like him and Danielson are whenever that match happens, we're gonna lose our fucking minds. But yeah, I get it. He's incredible. New Japan just in general, like, dude, Jay White won the title and has defended it twice. What a fuck. Stop giving him the goddamn belt with no plan.
Good news. He's going to lose it pretty soon.
I know he is. I want to be on board with Jay White, but it's just it's not his year either. It's not his year either. Yeah. He's so, get rid of the really knives. Good. Get the knives the fuck out of here. He's a fake knife guy. Has nothing to do with it. He's a bad
knife pervert.
It is knife pervert appropriation. Get it? He clearly would be so much better if he wasn't latched to it. Like, it has nothing to do with, the knives have nothing to do with his personality. At all. So just let him be a good wrestler who's a little stinker, and like, give him a title run when you actually want him to defend it, and because he would be great. He can be great. I'm ready for it. My number 3 is Jon Moxley.
Okay.
Yeah,
it's my number 2, so we're close.
Well, let's talk about it, baby. Jon Moxley has just had, like, he's the most reliable guy.
Yes. He has carried AEW all year. He is the one. Well, CM Punk was creating the mess. He was the one cleaning it up.
Oh my God. He just, every time you give this guy the ball, he's going to knock it out. Like, he's the MVP
Great
of
promo.
AEW.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Great promo. Like, good to great matches. Like, never a bad match. Mm-hmm. Always delivers. Always has to bleed. But it's just always fun. Always really smartly put together. And main event quality.
Yeah. And every single feud that he has, it's almost like, even the ones where it wasn't supposed to be him, the feud ends up better. MJF when the program with MJF, I think with the addition of Regal and stuff I think it's maybe better than what they would have had come up with for CM Punk and MJF. And I loved CM Punk MJF. It was great, but that I think it was a full story and this was something different. And I think it's because Mox is smart. He's a genius at this art form. He came back sober and wrecked, just had the year of his career almost by accident. So good for him. Unbelievable. It was hard. It was really honestly a coin toss between him being number 3 or number 2.
So what's number 2 for you?
Number 2 for me, MJF.
Okay, there we go. I mean, he's a little lower on my list, but
look, I think that he made himself he just was the most undeniable. Like, what can you do? Mm-hmm. Like, even when he
made himself the top guy.
He
grabbed the brass ring.
Dude, just everything. He's the best talker. Like he is the best, like, and he's the best talker because I think we talked about this in our like Full Gear pre-show, just about the heel's ability to create space for the babyface to do comebacks and stuff. We talked about that a lot, I think, with like Dr. Britt maybe, but he's the best at it. He makes everything an impact, but leaves vulnerabilities for people to be able to attack him. He's ready for it, and it's incredible. And all of his matches are exciting. I didn't put MJF Mox on my top list of matches because it felt almost unfair. Like I was dressed as a rabbi while watching it. Like I couldn't be biased. I'd be too biased if I put it on there, I think. But yeah, this is the first he's the first homegrown AEW champion. That's very important.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. I mean, Hangman, you could say arguably was already established before.
Yeah, he was in Bullet. He's a Bullet Club guy originally. Yeah, MJF had wrestled only on the internet until he came to AEW.
Right, he wasn't on. Yeah, that's fair. All right, well, number 1, it's safe to say we got the same guy. I think we picked Sami Zayn here. Easily the most entertaining wrestler of the year.
Yep.
Week after week, he has made SmackDown can't miss television. And even if you don't watch SmackDown, your friend will tell you, hey, you have to watch the Sami Zayn clip. On a Saturday, you'll get a link because he is so fucking good. He has absolutely kept the Roman Reigns storyline interesting. Without him, it would have been dead long ago. And he's given Jey Uso life. He's given Jimmy Uso purpose. I feel like, helped establish Solo Sikoa. He is one of their most important wrestlers right now. You know, they obviously have all their faith in Roman Reigns as champion. They have Brock, Cody, and whatever. But Sammy is their fucking guy, and they're at least recognize it on some level right now.
Dude, yeah. I talked about how, like, Kevin Owens is their reliable guy. I think he's, like, Owens is maybe the closest they have to Jon Moxley as far as reliability for passing of the ball. But here's the thing. Sammy isn't supposed to have the ball. This guy went from losing to Johnny Knoxville at WrestleMania in a match that I'm sure Vince just saw as separate entirely from, like, it was its own thing, and it absolutely didn't factor into plans for anything else. And this guy is accidentally like anything there's no one who has climbed further up the ladder than Sami Zayn. From being a guy, he's not even a new guy. He didn't get the ball once. He grabbed it with just anything. Just by being on TV, he has made himself like probably the top contender for winning the Rumble or like going or getting the title shot at Mania. He's now, I mean, it's not in the discussion yet. People still think it's going to be Cody, but he's a problem for Cody, which is big. And now with the new management, you don't know what they're going to do. He could be the Daniel Bryan problem for them. The way that he was always meant to be. He's always supposed to be the successor to the Daniel Bryan spot for WWE. And it's so insane that the way it's gone this full 360 for him being this incredible heel in such a unique way. He's undeniably the wrestler of the year, I think.
Yeah. Easy.
I hope he's wrestler of the year in 2023 by being
curious. Yeah,
babyface world champion.
Yeah. Will he be this hot by this time next year? Probably not. But I hope so.
Rob, thank you for recapping the whole year with me.
My
big
pleasure.
old episode. I want to let everybody know that we're going to be reworking what Knotfest Wrestling is.
Big things.
Big things are coming. We're going to figure out what our place in the wrestling world is in 2023. So look for it. Okay? Look for the rebranding and stuff. Bunch of new shows. Going to be a fun time. We'll see you in 2023, folks. Bye-bye.